What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another banger. So in today's video, we will be talking about what's next for the Denver Nuggets. Now, this should definitely be an interesting video. And before we do get into that topic, I do want to thank you guys for all the support that you've been showing on the channel. Y'all been going crazy. Y'all already know, road to 1,000 subscribers, man. Let's run it up. Let's try to get to that 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And with all that being said, let's switch over and let's get right into it. Alright, so with the Denver Nuggets, the reigning, defending champions, being eliminated in the second round to the Minnesota Timberwolves, that does bring a lot of questions for this team. Now, when it comes to this team, I do think that they are a well-rounded team. They have a lot of good pieces, but with this upcoming upseason, there will be a lot of questions that will need to be answered. Now, just to recap the playoffs, I'd say that Nikola Jokic, he did Nikola Jokic things, man. He played fairly well overall. He was shooting 54% from the field. He had pretty much 9 assists. And he played well, 13 rebounds per game. So overall, he did Nikola Jokic things. The player that really stood out in a negative way was Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, he really struggled during this series, man. He shot 40% from the field, which isn't good, and he shot 31% from 3 on 6 attempts, which also isn't good. So there's definitely going to be a lot of questions in regards to Jamal Murray. Let's keep it real, he really struggled during this series. Other than that, the only other players that I could really say struggled was the role players such as KCP and Christian Braun. Now, as we know, those two players, they're more so known for being pretty good 3-and-D players, but when it comes to their shooting, they really couldn't make a shot. When it came to KCP, he shot 39% from the field and 32% from 3, and that's something you definitely don't want to hear or see if that is one of your primary wing defenders. And it's unfortunate, man. Same with Christian Braun. He plays pretty good defense, we know that. But when it came to just his offensive capabilities from the field, he shot 42%, which is better than KCP. But when it came to his three-point shot, it was horrible at 22%, which is also something you don't want to see. When it comes to the two wings, you know, Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., they played very well overall, you know, especially Aaron Gordon. He shot 58% from the field and 40% from 3, which is good. Michael Porter Jr. shot 46% from the field and 40% from the 3 on down near 7 attempts, which is also good. So overall, like I was saying, there are 3 players that I will really be looking at when it comes to this offseason, and that's Jamal Murray, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Christian Braun. Now, let's switch over and let's take a look at this team's actual salary so that I could go over their salaries and see exactly what type of changes could be made to this team. Now, right here we do have their salaries. Let me zoom in a little bit so y'all can see that better. And let's scroll up real quick. Let's see what their team payroll is. So as we can see, they are 6th in the league when it comes to team payroll this year. So that's pretty high. So overall, you can say that their GM, their owner, is putting the money behind this team, man. For the most part, it has worked out. You know, they were last year's champions, so you can't really say that their GM or their owner isn't really putting the money behind this team. As we can see, there are the different key options. Light blue is player option, red is team option, green is qualifying offer, and purple is two-way contract. Now let's look at some of these contract. So Nikola Jokic, he is locked in for the next 4 seasons. So no problem with that. He getting paid pretty much $50 million, a little over that, down near 60, and I have no problem with that at all. He is pretty much damn near the best player in the league at the moment. So I don't have no problems with that. Now, like I was saying, the interesting point will be Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray will be on the last year of his contract next year. And it's not like it's a team option or player option. So it really brings the question of, will you re-sign Jamal Murray after he struggled during the playoffs? Me personally, in my opinion, I would re-sign him, but I would try to re-sign him for the same amount that he's pretty much getting paid right now, which is around that $35 million amount. I'm not trying to give him any more money other than that. I think that's reasonable for a player of his skill set. Now, Michael Porter Jr., he's locked in for the next 3 seasons. I'm completely fine with that. I would keep him because he does bring a lot of problems when it comes to opposing teams, when it comes to matching up against him. As we know, he like 6'10", can shoot very well, and just having that type of size can bring, some matchup problems against opposing teams. Aaron Gordon is locked in for the next 2 seasons. I think that's fine as well. He's pretty much your best wing defender, so I'm fine with that. We see Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, the player who I was pretty much telling y'all, man, he really struggled. And he does have a player option next year. More than likely, he will accept that player option. It's pretty much $15 million. And what I would do, just to get to the point, because as we can see, Christian Braun, he's locked in for the next couple of seasons. For Christian Braun, you just hope he get better. He already plays good defense. You just hope he continues to work on his shot. But when it comes to things that I would do to try to improve this team, first and foremost, for number 1, it would be don't overreact. No, what I mean by that is that over the course of years, you've seen plenty of teams that have, become champions and then come up short the next year, tend to blow up their team during the offseason. And if I'm the Denver Nuggets, I'm not doing that, because overall you see that this group of guys, they work together very well. They have good chemistry. The coach is fairly good too. He works well with the team. And it's like, why blow that up? I think just overall that this team, they just had a bad matchup when it came to the Timberwolves. Similar to boxing, how styles make fights, I think it's the same thing with this Denver Nuggets team. They just came to a bad matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. As we know, Minnesota, they have Karl Anthony Towns, who is a horrible matchup for some of their wings. So, yeah, with that being said, number 1, don't overreact. So don't trade none of your stars. Don't do nothing too drastic. Number 2, I would try to flip KCP for a better guard, a better 3-and-D guard. That's what I would try to do. And the reason I say KCP is just because although he is a good player, I do think that you may be able to get a better 3-and-D guard compared to him overall. And then I think that, trading KCP, it wouldn't necessarily damage the chemistry or the integrity of the team. It's not like you're trading a star player. So that's number 2, what I would do. Number 3, I would try to find another solid guard to come off the bench. They got Reggie Jackson, who will be on this team for another year, pretty much getting $5 million. I think you could find a better guard than him. So that would be my 3 things. I'll recap it one more time. Number 1, don't overreact. Don't trade none of your key players or key stars. Number 2, try to flip Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for a better 3-and-D guard. And number 3 is just to, try to get a better guard to come off the bench. As we know, Jamal Murray, he's kind of injury prone. So try to get another guard to come off the bench that's solid. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the motherfucking channel, turn on notifications and all that good stuff, and I'm out. Peace.